Anaconda. And of course, from there, I can start buying other things like better thrusters, which will improve my time between stations and stuff like that. Should I go ahead and do that, or should I go ahead and buy the other 10 ships to get my collector's achievement? Give me your thoughts. 400 billion star systems, and was very skeptic, but when I watched some videos and brought the game, I was truly amazed. Yeah, um, and it's crazy. I watched a video on the back end of how they do it on the server side. Those star systems that have not been quote quote discovered by a person yet, they haven't been procedurally generated. So once you go to a star system, one of those 400 billion out there that no one's ever seen before, and you bring that data back to populated space, it creates a database entry for it. And then from that point forward, that system exists for every other person that goes there. All procedurally generated, of course, with their the program that they use, an internal program. It's called Stellar Forge, and that's how they figure out how far away from a star planets would be and what temperature and what kind of star that would be there based on like its location and space in relation to everything else. Well, right now I'm using the Anaconda exclusively in the game. Probably will be for the foreseeable future, especially if I want to try to get up to Tycoon. But I have another 200 million to earn for that. So figure another 200 round trips, maybe 180 round trips from Carad to Orang and back. I make no mistake, the Anaconda is going to be my endgame ship on the Xbox side. Once I get it all kitted out, though, I'm probably just going to end up using it for for trade, since I don't think I'm going to get up to a cutter. Well, I was thinking too, if I upgrade the power plant, then I can upgrade the thrusters, and thrusters will make me so I can go faster in normal space or perform better. One of the things that I'm finding right now is that it's quite slow to turn when I'm in Super Cruise, and if I overshoot a station, it makes it so that it takes a long time to rotate back to it. Nope, this doesn't look like it's going to happen. All right. Not a huge problem. We'll go back over to the main game. I'll kind of look at my collection, show you where things are going on, and we'll continue the stream from that for a little bit. Um, so yeah, reasonably productive. 3 games. Um, one of which I came into halfway through. One of which was pretty one-sided, and then the other one was very one-sided. So I can't claim that I earned victory in any of those. No, actually, Carl, the dashboard color is specific to the PC side. Um, and that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons that I like the PC side better. There are some things that it can't do on PC that you can do on Xbox, for example. Using a controller to fly around on the Xbox is fantastic, but that same experience isn't a one-to-one translation on PC. There are a lot of things that doesn't work correctly. One of those being the overlay functions. Like, if you want to raise your landing gear, for example, you hold B, and then an overlay pops up on your screen that says, okay, press, up to open your cargo scoop, press down to raise your landing gear, things like that. And you can do those, and then life is good. Okay. Well, On the PC side, if you press B and down, what'll happen is you end up boosting and then lowering your landing gear. And that makes it very tricky when you're trying to land on a station, of course, because obviously you don't want to boost into things. It is a lot of money to Sane, but that's why I have Shinrar to Desra. So let me go over there and show you that right now. So, full game, open. Now, normally I try to get a CQC session in at any time when I'm first starting out. So, say I know I'm going to be doing some trade grinding, I'll jump in, check CQC, stick around for a few minutes, and see if I can get a game going. Accidentally boosted inside a station when trying to lower landing gears, crash right in the back wall, shields are offline. Yep, that'll do it. And on the PC side, that happens a lot more frequently when you're using a controller. Now, eventually, I hope to get a throttle and stick, but that's a couple months down the road, probably at least. So in the meanwhile, I'm finishing up stuff on the Xbox side. So you see over here, Combat Elite, Entrepreneur for Trade. Just hit that one last night. Pioneer for Exploration. And CQC up to Amateur 32%. And that's pretty good. Total assets at 592 million credits. Lots of time in game. And CQC, 8 hours and 15 minutes, including today's session. Okay. So here I am in the Anaconda. Go Starport Services. Now, Iraqi is definitely not a good place to buy stuff because it's not high tech and it's not a lot of stuff in the outfitting department. I'll show you my current configuration. I got the huge cannon because, of course, you have to have that. Everything else is a pulse laser right now, and that's because it's pushing my power availability a lot. I've got Delta 7 thrusters. I want to get the Alpha 7s, but if I did that, of course, it's going to not only cost more money, but I'd also have to have a lot more power availability. So that's why I think the next thing is I'm going to get the Alpha 8 power plant and get rid of that 7, and then I don't have to worry about that ever again. So that's what I need to do. Because I have access to the Founders World now, I keep my collection over there. One of the things that I do, Carl, just so you can get an idea while you're going through and playing, is I'll put ships at stations I frequent a lot, so that way I can kind of find them on the map easier. So like what I had done here was I started putting a Sidewinder at stations where I was going to have a community goal or something like that, so I'd be able to know where it was at and fly back to it. Wolf 865 is a station I started in when I started the game out. HIP 21991. I spent a lot of time there doing my Empire rank and stuff like that. And right now my current collection is based out of Shinrar to Desra. And the reason I do that is because there is a 10% permanent discount on all ships and outfitting modules entirely, all the time. Now, if you go shopping around, you can find a 15% discount if you needed to, but this way I can buy any ship I want forever with any module I want, always, at one stop, and can build my collection there. So here's what you see I have so far. My outfitted ships include the Python, the Asp Explorer, and then I have the Hauler, the Adder, the Imperial Eagle, the Viper Mark III, and the Cobra Mark III in my collection. So if I go over here, I can definitely fit out more ships and get that other achievement for having all of those 116 million credits right now. Or I could buy the Alpha 8 power plant. It's kind of a tough call. So, but yeah, in response to what you're saying, Carl, about 400 billion stars, I mean, you could literally just pick a location on the map and zoom in and count them. Go ahead. Do it. It's insane. And of course, my filter right now doesn't even have all of the things shown. I'm just showing the ones that I can scoop fuel from. A couple of ones of interest down here too. So you can go over to realistic, and then you'll see even more. Plus the nebula and the center of the galaxy and the core and stuff, where they get so much more dense. I mean, it is no joke. And a lot of the lure of the game is the exploration side, because there are still hundreds of billions of places that nobody has ever been before. And you can literally just pick a location and go to it. And it takes time, but that's part of the draw of the game. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this broadcast at this point. So I'm going to get back to doing the trade grind, and CQC seems a little bit dead right now. I will be starting again next week. I'm looking at 2 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. UTC. I'll work up kind of an agenda or a theme for that broadcast. Hope to see everyone again then. Carl says, started out at LHS 3447, moved on to Aravit. It's agriculture, refinery, industry, and he don't know if that's a good place to smuggle. Another star system based on something else. Yeah, I'm not like the world's biggest smuggler. In fact, I'll show you. If you look at my smuggling stats right there, I've been to 3 stations and I've smuggled exactly 219 tons worth of commodities. So I don't have a lot of guidance I can offer on that. I think that if you want to continue in that, you can look for things on the fringes of space. I know there's a lot of long-range smuggling missions at what's the Robigo mines. A lot of people like going there, and they have the missions where if you get scanned, your mission automatically fails. And so it's a little more tricky to get the success on the mission, but the reward and the payout is a lot more. And it turns out to be a lot like rare trading, because you have several jumps you have to go to between systems to carry goods a couple hundred light years. So that might be something you can look into. Oh, and if it's just as an instance, if someone hears of something and they say, "Oh, well, where is that?" I'm certainly hoping I open the galaxy map. There it goes. And then you can type in even the name of a station. Oh, or maybe not. And you see it's way out on the tail end of inhabited space. I haven't even been there myself. A lot of people do go, just because, again, it has some degree of smuggling available for it. So maybe somewhere you want to check out. But like I said, I will be broadcasting again next week. Should be starting a little bit earlier in the evening if you're in the UK. Hopefully we'll get some more people on CQC, and everyone will have fun blowing me up. Appreciate and like to invite you back then, and I'll post up about it when I have more information. So enjoy, and I'll catch you around.